Hello and welcome to Redshirt Cinema Club, a weekly podcast about fandom and watching movies with friends. We're back among the stars this week, very much a home fixture for the pod, as we discuss Dark Star, the first film in our John Carpenter series that will run through October. With its beachball alien, existentially challenged smart bombs, and blue-collar wasters, the film is certainly influential. But is it any good? Let's find out. Hello and welcome to Redshirt Cinema Club. I am your host, Nathan Dighton, and I'm joined today, you're both beach ball aliens, by the way, of course.
That thing was a beach ball?
David Jackson.
Hello.
And Robert Pearson.
Hello.
We're at the beginning of a new season.
We are.
We've finished Alien Earth.
Yes.
And I think in the end I was glad to finish it.
Yes.
I'm glad to finish all things.
I wish it had
That's true.
finished. Don't get me started. Anyway, yes, we're moving on. A new season.
Here at the end of
this
all
season
things.
will end.
And we have done, we are doing for Halloween, or leading up to Halloween, a John Carpenter themed season, which when I started looking at the movies that we would be doing, I was just very excited about. I wanted to include The Thing in Halloween because it's scary season, but going chronologically, as we often do on the podcast, means going from Dark Star, which is something we've already spoken about, his first film, which is the one we're going to be talking about today, through lots of exciting genre pictures all the way up to The Thing.
Yes.
So we have watched Dark Star this week.
Yes.
Which we spoke about. If you are a Patreon member and you want to go back, there is an episode that we did linking Dune and Alien, which talks about some of the people involved and the production history of Dark Star a little bit, and how it kind of figured in between 2001 and then what was going on in Alien, which might come up today. But for now, it's a John Carpenter film, which was initially made as a student film beginning in 1972 and then was reshot with some extra budget to turn it into a feature film over the next couple of years and became a kind of a cult classic on the midnight circuit. Had either of you seen the film before?
No.
I had not seen the whole thing. I'd seen bits and pieces.
Right.
And I'd always found it incredibly tedious.
Yes. Did that change this time?
Not really.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about it?
Tedious is a great word, I think. I really wanted to enjoy it, and obviously you can't escape that it's an old film, you know? And I wanted to try, I tried really hard to put myself back in 1974 and see the effects and for what they were then, and which I'm sure was much more impressive than they appear today. And
I don't know.
And also, whenever you hear something is a cult classic, you're like, come on, I need to understand why people like this. I can do this. And it's not that it's not that I disliked the whole thing or anything, but I think tedious is bang on. Like, there are quite long periods of time where I found myself, my hand was just gently caressing my phone, like,
Oh no! I wonder what I could see.
What if I've got a
notification?
notification? Maybe someone wants to talk to me.
Buzz for me.
Yeah. How about you, Rob?
I had forgotten anything we'd spoken about on the podcast previously about this movie, so I didn't know anything about it. And as I was watching it, I resisted the urge to look up what the fuck was going on Wikipedia, because I need to just go in as blind as possible. I can't say that I enjoyed watching it. I guessed watching it that it must have been John Carpenter's sort of like version of Peter Jackson's Brain Dead. It's got certainly like a student film feel about it, and hearing you say that it was made with $60,000 and was his student film makes a lot of sense. I think the fact that we're talking about a film made 6 years after 2001: A Space Odyssey sort of eliminates any notion in my mind that cinema audiences or film audiences of the time were in any way impressed by the special effects in this film, because they're dog shit. But I could see the. I'm not very au fait with the films of John Carpenter, but I could see certainly the seeds of some kind of interesting filmmaker here.
Yeah.
It felt very much like just a series of ideas, not particularly worried about linking them together narratively that much. Just like there's a guy who he's sick and tired. He's just sitting in the top deck thinking about philosophical questions. There's a guy who's decided to bring an alien on board, and I couldn't figure out whether the alien was literally dangerous or whether he was just playing with it like a
mischievous,
like a dog.
Yeah.
But he just likes this alien, and some of the ideas that were spoken about I found quite interesting. The guy who was talking about the Phoenix meteorites, I was like, oh, that's a cool sci-fi idea.
Yeah.
Like a strange cluster of meteorites that traverses the entire universe every ever trillions of years it is. Cool. That's cool. And then at the end, obviously, some stuff happens. Sentient bombs. There's a bunch of cool sci-fi ideas in here, but I found the time I spent with it, tedious is a good word. Like, I think it was, I don't know whether he was going for the sort of like the slow burn of something like a 2001, whether or not John Carpenter had 2001 in his head when he was making this, but there's lots of just people on a ship, lots of shots of the ship, which obviously look quite ropey. So I didn't enjoy the movie, but I appreciated some of the craft and intent in it.
It's not, I don't think it's, I feel like it's one of those movies where I can point out the things that are interesting about it rather than feeling them while I'm watching the film. And I think that has got something to do with throwing yourself back in time. But as Rob says, it is thrown out of kilter by the fact that 2001, which unfortunately we haven't already put a podcast out about.
No, we have watched it.
But we have watched.
We haven't recorded it yet. And also for people who've been following the reason we didn't do that, the alarm was also going off this morning.
Yes.
It's every time we try and talk about a space movie.
Yes,
the
the
alarm's
podcast is
going
cursed now.
But it was one of the things which I do remember from putting together the episode that I just mentioned earlier on about the production of Dune and Alien was that O'Bannon and Carpenter were trying to make an anti-2001.
Right.
And I think that in that kind of counterculture spirit of that is pristine.
It felt like the Beatles in space or something. It felt like a hippie 70s rock band.
Yes.
In space.
It's
taking
also
the piss a little bit. I couldn't tell whether it was supposed to be funny or not. Even at the end?
100%.
Surely at the end you were like, okay.
When he surfs
down to the planet. Did you watch the end, Rob?
I did.
Okay.
I've only just realised that's what he was doing.
That's what he's doing. He's like, I've got a great idea. Because he's been talking to Talby about...
talking about how good he was at surfing, yeah.
I think that in being the anti-2001, like, that has made me think... Something I wanted to say is just, it's bleak. It's such a bleak movie.
What, 2001?
No, Dark Star. The bleak future of these guys, these lonely guys who go around destroying planets. One of their crew members is dead because he had a faulty seat. The
Bickering.
People back home aren't going to help. Then they're like, it starts with like...
It's a cool setup, sort of.
No, it's cool, but it's bleak. I mean, like, honestly, when they walked into their bedroom, I almost shed a tear. I was like, this is no life. This is horrible.
Like
and they're all just sat together. One guy's smoking, one guy's playing cards, playing solitaire, and the other guy's trying to make them laugh with some awful practical jokes.
Their food looks like melted ice poles.
Yeah.
So
it's like a space submarine, isn't it?
It was, yeah, exactly. And submarines I find incredibly bleak.
Knowing that they're trying to make an anti-2001, I'm immediately remembering the elevator sequence where the guy has his legs just sticking out the bottom of the elevator and it's slowly moving down whilst that, I can't remember the name of the classical piece of music, but it's like 2001.
The Barbara Seville, I think.
Loads, yes. Beautifully choreographed, like waltz-like shots of these spacecraft dancing to...
Blue Danube,
wonderful music.
Yes.
And here we've got like a guy's ass coming slowly to the camera whilst this other piece of classical music plays. I guess, yeah, if he's trying to not take the piss, but just play around a little bit and maybe make something of that ilk that isn't quite as pretentious.
I think that the way that it was made as well means there's a quote that Dan O'Bannon had, which was not being enormously satisfied with the end result because of the way it came together. I think it's got a lot more to do with they were just trying to make a movie and it was part of their college program. So it's kind of like your movie, you know, the one that also we've had on the pod, Rob, as a special episode that people can see on Patreon. You put everything into it, you grab all your friends, your collaborators, you do your best, and then imagine it just picked up a little bit of steam and someone said, hey, if I gave you another bit of budget, could you go and extend this movie by another 30 minutes? And you probably go, all right, well, this guy can do some more shit in his lab, I guess. I don't really know.
Yeah.
And it's got a real sense. When you say it's kind of episodic, I think that's where it comes from. One of the things that they shot, apparently after they were given some more budget, was the scene where he's just playing like an instrument full of bottles. Yes. And I tell you, I did not get much from that scene.
I liked that scene.
I enjoyed the idea of that scene. In reality, I didn't enjoy watching it.
What I did enjoy from it was this sense of these guys just going slowly insane, holed up together in this hopeless. I think it would make. He should have written this as a sci-fi novel in the 70s. It would have been fucking great. Like where budget doesn't matter. You could create. I can see like a serious version of this film, or it's about some guys just slowly going mad in space.
Well, the serious version of this film is Alien. It's because O'Bannon, who played Pinback.
Did he? Was that Dan O'Bannon?
Yeah. And he wrote or co-wrote this, and then obviously
so he wanted to bring the alien on board,
and then he wrote Alien, and you can see some of the, like, in terms of the bleakness, in terms of the, hey, what's mankind like? Well, they're not really looking after these people who are sent into space, and what's this blue collar experience in space look like? Right, it's people living on top of each other. You just see, like, if it's not a bunch of hippie students in California making this film, if it's an advertising director with like a British sensibility, what does it look like? It looks like Alien.
And there's the corporate message at the start, which is very Weyland-Yutani, I guess, in the sense that they give zero shits about the people. They're just like, we're not giving you any extra help, but we really appreciate the great job you're doing.
Yes.
Keep doing your job.
Exactly.
Really sorry, dude.
In space.
It was like, we're really sorry to hear about the radiation leak, and we're really, really sorry to hear about the death of Captain Powell or whatever.
See the guy in the fridge?
Yeah. Which another great.
But he was still
idea.
alive.
That was.
I guess he was. I don't know if he was alive. His consciousness existed somehow.
There, yeah.
And at the end, they were like, "Oh look, Commander Powell's made it. He always was the lucky guy, and he's like in an ice cube floating off into space forever just to exist, some sort of consciousness."
I grew up listening to and watching Hitchhikers, and I loved Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf was fucking huge for me when I was a kid. And the Doug Naylor,
Doug Naylor, yeah.
And Rob, the other
don't
guy.
know.
I think it was Doug Naylor though, who so it was originally like a radio series as well. It's called Dave Hollis or something. And there's so much Red Dwarf in this, in terms of like there's a talking toaster in Red Dwarf, which is basically one of the bombs. And so I saw loads of specific ideas. The idea of bringing someone back from, or keeping them alive in this horrible way, just so you can speak to them, and their body decomposing, and so them being sort of lost in some kind of like psychological limbo. That's really unpleasant.
It's a great sci-fi idea and quite a striking image.
Yeah.
But just like everything's shot through with this very tongue-in-cheek tone that doesn't allow you to really go full throttle on the depth of how horrific some of these things could be if you explored them in a more serious way. But the film's not trying to be that, so I don't think that's a legitimate criticism you can throw at it. But I did enjoy the scene where he's trying to convince the bomb to not go off.
It seems so Hitchhikers to me, that whole thing. And it predates Hitchhikers by.
I've never read Hitchhikers,
by 10
to my
years.
shame. It's another book I've had on my shelf probably for 15 years now. I just haven't read.
I think you would enjoy it.
I don't know why.
I think the radio is where it originated.
I hated the film with Zooey Deschanel and Martin Freeman who was in it.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that.
I think that's fair. I didn't particularly enjoy it.
But I've also never read the book. So, but I hear it's good.
But the original is a radio. So
yes.
And then he wrote
Was
a
it
book.
radio before a book?
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
That was back in the days where you could make money from books. It was like, how do I make more money from my hit radio show?
Wow. So radio, I'll do a book adaptation.
Exactly. And then it was on TV. And then they did
a bad film was made.
Yeah. And someone we've had on the other podcast, which we make, the PlayStation Access podcast, Sam Bayard, was in the later season of the radio of Hitchhikers. So you've spoken to someone in the last month or two from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. How cool
Well, they
is that?
spoke about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on there.
Yes,
on the
I wasn't
podcast.
sure if you would remember. That's
I
why-
did remember.
That's why I was teeing it up like that.
But having not listened to it, I guess the magnitude of that was lost on me a little bit.
I was enormously impressed. I was like, holy shit, that's big. Fucking love Hitchhikers. Yeah. And love Red Dwarf. And it also speaks, like Dark Star also kind of speaks to that culture of science fiction writing, when there were lots more kind of short stories and magazines for those short stories to go into. I can't remember, is it a Ray Bradbury short story? It rips off the end of a short story apparently called Kaleidoscope. This
I wish they did these like New Worlds. Where is that now? Like,
I don't know. I guess it's all on the internet.
We should make a New Worlds.
A new science fiction magazine.
Brand New Worlds.
Very good. It's funny because it did remind me a bit of the book which I can recall now very easily. It's like The Voyage of the Space Beagle.
Yeah.
Did you read that yet?
No, it's on my desk. Though.
That's fine. But which it's not. I mean, I think The Voyage of the Space Beagle is really good, but it's a collection of short stories. I assume that I think they were published in some magazine at some point and then collected together. But again, yeah, I guess it had that. That sense of it's the same characters on the same ship, but they're just kind of cut into sort of mini-sodes of stuff. I mean, obviously the alien encounter is probably the most that has a sort of a story and a beginning, middle, and an end.
Should we talk about the alien?
Yeah, definitely.
I fucking hate that alien.
Do you know what? I found like I don't want to sound pathetic, but I thought for a moment there was going to be a spark of horror about it.
It might
when he
burst.
goes into the room and he can't see it, and you're like, oh, what's it going to be like? I was like a bit nervous about, what's going to come out. It comes out, it's a stupid fucking beach ball, and all the horror is gone. But then when it like hides, it plans to attack him for the first time. I was like, is it going to eat his head?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen? And I found a little bit of horror again in it, and then
Sure.
obviously it's completely deflated.
I feel like you're bringing all of that yourself.
Perhaps.
I think it was the kind of thing that probably would have scared me as a kid. Something, obviously, it was laughable.
Yeah,
Just
it's completely
the most
laughable.
obvious beach ball with some duck feet.
Yeah.
But also something very odd about it, about the way what's it doing physically when the guy is dangling down the elevator shaft,
Yeah.
and it's sort of bouncing in a doorway.
Yeah.
I don't understand the physics of that scene
No.
or what it's doing there, and there's just something really quite odd about it.
It was the way, like I said, it planned to attack. You could see he was unawares. He was putting its food down and sweeping up or something, and it was planning to attack him. And just like I said, it was just like a flash of, oh, it could be quite horrible. I didn't know where it was going to go. And then I should have known because it was a beach ball that we weren't going to.
It's just going to bounce around on him.
But I suppose because I've been thinking about John Carpenter, and I thought, is this actually good? We're going to see some horror.
Right.
And in fact, no. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't remember seeing it deflate. Did I just?
It does.
It pings around the room. He shoots it with the tranquilizer dart.
Yeah, and then he sort
it
of
pierces the beach ball.
goes. It was just full of gas. That it was like another kind of a meta joke. Really, he's talking to the other characters, going, "It was just full of gas the whole time. Can it live if it's just full of gas?
How can a life form sustain itself?
Yeah,
It's just gas.
yeah. But that's like probably the most. That there's a story within this, something to follow, some action.
So the
It's
first
still
time I ever
incredibly
saw
slow.
this film was I was watching John Carpenter's movies at university. I was like wondering, should I include him in this thing I was writing, and lots of people talking about how influential this was, and obviously I really liked Alien in 2001, and it sits between them. And I remember, and this is where I got to the bit with the beach ball alien.
Yeah.
And I think I was just bored and sleepy.
Yeah.
And I thought, what the fuck? Yeah, and it's that thing, I was looking for something in this film that isn't there. I think that once you know the character and the tone of it, maybe you can accept these things and then understand what they then led to. And I guess it's also interesting to put it in the context of having talked a lot about Star Trek in our very early episodes of this pod, and what that did and what was going on culturally, and then that going away. And this sits in between the original Star Trek series and the first motion picture. And I guess given how the first Star Trek motion picture really didn't know how to be Star Trek in space,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like there's like quite a lot of Star Trek in this, in a way. There's people buzzing about.
I think
Yes,
that we said
it's
this.
unavoidable, isn't
There's
it?
really cool ideas. It is, yeah. I think that one of the big problems for me probably was that I didn't know it was a comedy, and
Right.
its comedy is subtle to begin with. I mean, it's not that subtle, but you open with this, like, I suppose the corporate message does tee you up for this is funny.
Yeah.
To be fair, but then its comedy is still quite a subtle comedy. I think that's. And the problem with comedy is, unlike anything else, I think it either lands and it doesn't, and that is dependent on who you are as a person. I feel like if you're doing scares, there's like general things that you can do to make people feel scared. If you're doing romance, there's general things you can do to get people to understand romance. But I think comedy is just really in the eye of the beholder, and you're either on board, and often if you don't get on board, you're just out then. And I think I never got on board with it. There was a couple of things that made me laugh.
I think it's particularly hard if you're watching it on your own. Like,
Yeah, right.
If you're in a room full of people who start laughing at it, It's very. I find it's much easier to be like, oh yeah,
I
this
get
is
it.
supposed to be funny, and I'm allowed to laugh.
Right.
And then you can often. When I first watched Hot Fuzz,
Yeah.
I remember like the first hour of it, I was like, oh. I was like, what is this funny? It was like the first film of Edgar Wright's that I'd seen. I think I hadn't seen Shaun of the Dead. I was in the cinema, I was watching it, and then by the end I was just on the floor in tears.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, oh, this is so funny.
That's because you're from the Southwest and you were like, this documentary is
Hey,
really good.
are they poking fun at my people?
Yeah. But yeah, I think
Crusty
yes,
jugglers.
I think it there's all these really interesting sci-fi ideas that are just slightly hampered by the comedy as well. And sometimes it helps and sometimes it really hinders, I think.
I think it's so culturally specific that there are films that I've seen. I can imagine someone watching Attack the Block in another 20 years and just not understanding what those kids are about and
Right.
where they're from or anything. Mm-hmm. And because I exist during the time where I understand where kids like that live and what they're watching and what they're listening to and whatever.
Joe Cornish made that.
Yeah.
I've still not seen it, I don't think.
That'd be an interesting one. If we do an Edgar Wright season, we could maybe drop that in alongside same production company and stuff. But
Then we could do an episode of Adam and Joe as a bonus.
oh my God, I would fucking love that. Oh, I've been decorating my house listening to, there's an archive of Adam and Joe radio shows, like just ripped straight from Six Music. You can just listen to.
Is Adam Buxton in Attack the Block? I feel like he should if he's not.
Well, it's a running joke that he hates the role that he has. He does a voiceover of a pretend nature documentary.
I see.
For one bit, and he's kind of like, "Why didn't I have a real part in your movie, Joe?" Like
He's in Hot Fuzz, isn't he? Is he in?
Yes,
is
he
he in
is.
Shaun of the Dead?
I can't
think so.
remember.
Can't remember him being there.
I can't remember.
Have you seen Shaun of the Dead?
Yes,
He is in,
I have seen it now. Yeah,
he is, isn't he? In Shaun? No, he's not.
I've only seen it once though, where I've seen Hot Fuzz probably 10 times.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead's fucking great. Hot Fuzz, spoiling my opinions if we ever do but the first time I saw it, I didn't really enjoy it. I think Shaun of the Dead is so similar to Spaced, which I really loved. And I've watched Hot Fuzz once, didn't enjoy it. Then after I've been living in Bath for about 5 years, watched it again and found it hilarious.
That's so
I saw it-
unbelievably slickly made as well.
That's a great film.
I saw it at the cinema at university in Bath with some friends from university who were from London, and they hadn't lived in Bath very long, and they had
Right.
a similar kind of like,
What was that about?
didn't really, is this?
Going
And I
on?
was like, oh my God, this is so good.
Well, I saw it
so well observed.
I saw it in Aberystwyth when I was at university
Right.
in the cinema there, and everyone there was loving it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loving it. There's a room full of students anyway, basically.
Yeah.
What a film.
It is good. And
but-
then A World's End.
But I can just imagine in Dark Star, all these guys look the same. Long hair,
Yeah.
beards. They've it's a particular kind of, I think, American man in his 20s who doesn't really know where he's going or whatever. And I feel like, for me, I'm just like, why is the hair and makeup in this movie so shit? Why do all these guys look the same?
Yeah.
It's a different vibe. Whereas I think if you're, the relatability is dissipated, is I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed
Some stoners in space, basically. Some California stoners
Exactly.
in a spaceship.
Surfers. Yeah. I really enjoyed Pinback's backstory, that he applied to be an astronaut and didn't have the IQ for it, and an actual astronaut went mad, took off his spacesuit and jumped into a vat of fuel. At the time, I remember thinking, "This is a really." Now I'm telling you, it's
quite
back.
dark.
I'm like, "Oh, this is actually." I don't know if I fully understood the story, but it sounded good. He's basically mistaken for the actual Pinback, and is taken on this space mission.
Yeah.
And reveals to everyone, like, I'm not this guy, but it's too late, and he's out there in space. Back to the tediousness, the diary room scene, where it's just him sort of. It was kind of interesting, kind of funny. He starts off as almost a different character in that diary where he first arrived, but just a long bit. And now that you say, like, we need to add some flesh to this
Right.
to make it into a movie, I was like,
diary
maybe that's
entries
one of
should
the
we
bit.
have?
Yeah,
5.
Should we spend 15 minutes in here? We'll just tell
I
some
felt the
story.
same about the elevator scene. I felt like it felt like
Protracted.
like someone figuring out how to do an action sequence or a suspenseful sequence, and I did not find it enormously engaging. Talking about the sort of cultural relatability, one of the things which, when they came back for reshoots, that they had to wear wigs to match because they'd all cut their hair. I guess they'd all left college.
Yeah.
cut their hair and gone and got real jobs.
That's really funny. There were so many sort of pin-ups, naked ladies on out in the spaceship, and obviously that gives you a sense of these guys and who they are, and they're alone and whatever. But I just thought it was a real choice in their bedroom to have a whole wall of skin that they then had to blur out.
Skin.
It must have been a nightmare in post. He literally had to mask out the guy quite badly, I could see.
I think that I read about Dan O'Bannon talking about this. I think when it got picked up for distribution, for theatrical, after it had been successful on like the cult circuit, that was when they made that choice, and he was quite sad about it. He said, I can't remember if I actually got around to it. I was going to say this earlier on, that he said that I was talking about Rob's student movie. He said, I feel like we went from having one of the best student movies of all time to having one of the worst feature films of all time.
Yeah.
Which is maybe true.
Yeah, it's a fair comment. It is difficult. It is. I mean, does anything ever made that leap successfully, really successfully? I
don't know about from student film, but this reminded me of Clark's to a certain extent, or Clerks, probably is actually how you say Clark's.
Clark's Village.
Clark's Village returns.
I was always confusing when I was a kid because in the UK we pronounce that word Clark.
We do, yeah.
But it's American.
Yes.
And so like my cool friends would be like, hey, have you seen Clerks? And I'd be like, Clark's.
Yeah.
Do you mean Clark's?
Yeah.
Which huge movie for, I guess, people my age, basically. I mean, it maybe still was when you guys were 5 years.
Is it the video store? Do they have a video store?
Yes.
Yeah, I have seen it once. I can't remember it.
All right, so not.
Is it Jay and Silent Bob?
It is Jay and Silent Bob, who became something else afterwards. But imagine the first time it's like this guy from New Jersey who's made a film using credit cards. It looks like shit, but it's so fucking funny. And it's like him and his friends are in it. That sense of you can get, and it reminds me of this in a way that's like, no budget film that is good because it's engaging, because the things that people are saying are extremely relatable and good. And I kind of felt like this Dark Star did not get over that same hump for me. I was not as engaged by the things they were saying, apart from a couple of scenes like Rob said. The bomb was very good. I quite like the scenes with Talby and him just being fucking spaced out in his little pod.
I enjoyed that.
It's a real shame, actually. I would love to see the movie without the extra bits that they've added on. Like, what was it intended to be?
One of the DVD releases.
I would love to see is John Carpenter still alive?
He is.
Well, they should just remake this movie with some budget.
What about Dan O'Bannon though? He's quite important as well.
Is he dead now?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying he'd need to be involved. He actually stars in it. I was actually had to check that I'd got this right, because he does so. I was like, where is John Carpenter in this movie? And obviously he arrives at the end as, I think he co-wrote it and he directed it, and he also did the soundtrack.
Yeah,
like actually composed. I think there's that track at the start, that Benson, Arizona, I think it's called, which I think he... Yeah,
do you know what I was going to say, just on that? One of the things which I thought there was a connection which I hadn't really thought of before, which was in Alien Covenant, there's like... what's that stupid song that they like? Because it's basically space truckers, right?
Yeah.
Like Alien Covenant, and they sing West Virginia, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Country Roads, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And it reminded me a lot. Obviously, I think this song was written for Dark Star, but I hate
that song.
Country Roads.
Put it out there.
Why'd you hate it?
Because everyone decided to like it all at the same time. I think when
it was in like
when
a bunch
a Fallout
of
game
it came back.
Out,
oh right,
it was in like a Fallout trailer or something, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we all like Country Roads, don't we?"
I think in like 2003 there was like a sort of club.
Once.
There was like a club remix of it that I remember hearing every weekend.
I feel the same way about Country Roads that I feel about Sweet Caroline.
I was going to say, how do you feel about Sweet Caroline?
I hate that song.
People are having fun at the football.
Yeah,
but it's ITV football. It's ITV cover. I hear Sweet Caroline and it reminds me of Lee Dixon and Sam Matterface and Mark Chapman.
There's a smug...
Well, England have played well, haven't they? And everyone in the background, oh, Sweet Caroline. Shit.
What's Thomas Tuchel learned today? Not much about his squad.
What's he putting Jordan Henderson in the squad for?
Oh,
well, that's
God, you've depressed me so much.
That's our football tangent, everybody.
Yeah.
If you were listening,
Also, our classist tangent.
yeah, very much
Was
so.
that classist?
To say you don't, I like football, but not ITV football. I guess maybe not. Maybe it's just that you
What's
don't like
classist
their
about that? I don't like those people on ITV. They're terrible.
They
Mark
are.
Chapman, maybe not so much
Chappers.
him, but Lee Dixon and Sam Matterface are awful. And if they're listening to this, fuck you both.
Oh my God! Why are you starting a flame war with?
They're not going to be listening, though, are they?
Imagine if they are. They might really like. Do you know, I love sci-fi.
gonna
They're
try
doing a
this
John
new
Carpenter season. I'd love. This is a nice, safe escape from all the hate I get online. I'm gonna watch some movies with my family. I'm gonna listen to a little podcast about it. That'll be lovely. What the hell?
They deserve it. They're terrible
Oh my
at their
God.
jobs. Anyway, onwards.
terrible at their job.
They are. I should be on. I should be doing commentary for football ahead of Lee Dixon.
Here's the truth. The truth comes out. Rob, as he's driving home every day, goes into his little imaginary world where he's invited to
I'd love to know the
Palace
logic.
games every month,
Do you know,
every
and
week.
I always think, bringing this back to sci-fi as a sci-fi premise, everything is possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is, and I used to think about this sometimes when I'd really want something to happen. I could start a chain of events
Yeah.
that would lead to you being on co-commentary with Sam Matterface, and I want to know what it is.
And how do we go back there and make it
Probably
happen?
getting loads of money.
But we could do it from now. It's just more unlikely at this point.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, there's the brute force way where
But co-commentators are always ex-pros for some reason that I still don't understand.
So you need to make you a pro footballer first.
Why don't you have radio broadcasters and experts and journalists? Why can't they be co-commentators?
I guess the idea is
why
that
does
they
it always
know
have
less
to be an
about-
ex-pro? Well,
know
they
less
don't, because
about
the ex-pros know demonstrably fuck all a lot of the time
It's
about
because
what they're
people
talking about.
have heard of Lee Dixon. They haven't heard of expert from the radio. You know, like, oh yeah, he played for whoever he played for. Arsenal.
My theory about ex-pros coming in to do commentary is that the more they do commentary, the less they seem to know about football. Often when one turns up initially in the first spring of their career in broadcasting, the stuff they say is different and it's interesting, and maybe because they're closer to their playing career, and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, I've not heard, like Gary Neville.
Well, it must move
came
on.
and people were like, oh my God, Gary Neville is a breath of fresh air, and I think he's still pretty good, but eventually you're kind of like, you're just saying the same shit as everyone else.
Well, I think that's fair. As in, I think that must happen. Like, it's not the same having, playing the game yesterday and having played it a decade ago. Like, you can't have the same
People just
insights.
get drawn into cliche. It's like
Yeah.
this gravitational pull of the
Well,
black
that's the other
hole
thing.
of
It's like
TV.
broadcasting is a thing, isn't it? It's a thing, and you stop being a player in broadcasting and you just become a broadcaster who used to play.
I guess
probably.
it's like me still making Friday features.
No, it's different because because you love doing that and it's great.
No, but I'm still saying the same things that I said 10 years ago is what I mean.
I see what you're
But
saying.
you're still playing PlayStation games and having thoughts about them.
Yes.
what's the equivalent?
But the format is largely the same as it was 10 years ago when it felt fresh, I guess, or certainly more fresh than it feels now.
But it's not about the format. It's about the experience. If you didn't play a PlayStation game or any game, obviously, for 10 years and made a Friday feature, it would be like what you'd have no understanding of what it's like to play games anymore, and it would be out of date. I'm sure there'd still be an audience for it, and you could talk about this time, but it wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have the insight of.
You're more
I assume
like
things have moved on in 10 years.
like when they get a current player on and he's like maybe injured, so he can't play in that game.
You've had a very long injury, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he's doing a bit of broadcasting, but he also still plays. I
He
guess.
still plays, yeah. Not
trying to
well.
think.
He was never one of the best players.
trying to think of
but
who
like
that is.
a real good.
In the current lineup of pundits. We should talk about Dark Star again.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dark Star is quite a short
We
movie.
finished Dark Star.
Well, we haven't finished Dark
Do you know,
Star.
I've got something I wanted to ask on the tangent of Dark Star, which is, Rob, if I was to give you £50,000
Yeah.
to extend your student film, the name of which currently escapes me,
Enter the Valkyrie.
Enter the Valkyrie, and you could either I was going to say, or you could make a sequel. No, I want you to extend it. Reshoots are planned, so you have to contact everyone who's in the film.
Yeah.
And get them
Now?
get them back in
Like now.
This
Well,
is your
Wigs,
chance.
20 years
Wigs and
later.
makeup.
Wigs would be fine. Yeah, wigs would be fine. You might, like Mark Hamill when he went back for the Star Wars sequels. You might have to go through 6 to 8 months of dieting and fitness regime so you get your physique back. Well,
Rob's just sat at a desk. To be fair, I think a wig.
A hat and a wig,
and
some glasses.
He doesn't need much. Did you were clean shaven though?
Yes,
so
a little bit.
Slightly more difficult.
Well, I was trying to grow a beard at the time.
Yeah, okay.
So I had like fluffy stubble.
Yeah.
I guess
cigarettes.
Maybe you could use some of the budget to go back and give yourself a digital beard back in those old shots. You could match it up that way.
Yeah.
No, I would want to do, because I had a whole
sex scene.
No.
But it's just Rob.
Yeah. Well, I would do. We wanted to do like an action scene in the bar, like the final fight. My dad's
I remember you saying.
was chairman of the Wyvern Club in Taunton.
Yeah.
So I used to be able to go in there after hours when I was a kid. I used to remember playing behind the bar, playing hide and seek, all this kind of thing. And he was like, "Yeah, you can come and shoot it in my bar." And my friend was like, "Oh, I know how to rig up like pretend glass bottles and make them explode.
Yeah.
So it looks like a gun has shot them." And I was like, "Oh, cool. I'm gonna have like a row of bottles on the bar. There's gonna be a shootout in a bar." And then I had a scene at the end planned where the Valkyrie would like wings would come out of her, and she would ascend to Valhalla. And another friend of mine at uni was like, he knew how to do Maya animation at the time. So I reckon I can do that sequence, just wings coming out and then sort of like dissolves into heaven. Yeah, I could do that for you. So that's what I'd do. I'd extend.
What happened to the Wyvern Club? How did you lose the location?
It was non-committal. Yes, you can do that from this guy who owned it.
Yeah,
and then I quickly realised that the logistics of getting the crew and the actors to Taunton from Aberystwyth was more budget than I had available to me.
I love that this is
on the trains. That's about 50 grand.
Yeah,
right?
I love two things. I love the small townness of the things which were under consider. Oh, the logistics of getting everyone from Aberystwyth to Taunton, and I also love that offered budget to do reshoots on your movie. Like going back to the Wyvern Club, it's like that's what you're like.
He's unfortunately he's dead now, Martin, the owner of the Wyvern Club.
You maybe convince them that
I'd get a different bar.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Bar.
Think big. This is what I'm saying.
I do think that you've sort of pointed out the issues with having to add on bits to your movie, though. I mean, those were good ideas, but a lot of them were just sort of like aesthetic upgrades to. And you probably added about 2 minutes to your movie.
The original movie was pretty perfect, wasn't it? So
it was.
It's difficult to crack.
I know we've said this before, but like constraints are good. I think.
What about
Darkstar needed more constraints? You
should pitch some additions to Enter the Valkyrie.
Okay.
Mine is that you build everything that happens in Enter the Valkyrie is now a flashback, and that's like, and there's a framing device around it, which is as long or longer, depends on how long we're trying to make this whole film. And obviously Rob's character it's a bit like the first season of True Detectives.
Okay,
we're jumping back and forth in time. There's new Rob, there's old Rob. I reckon we could get a performance out of current day Rob, which could sell some shit's happened over the last 20 years or however long it's been, that would set up a time jump narrative, and I guess the Valkyrie's returned. I'm not sure what's happened.
Do we get a role?
You and I,
we have to. Maybe we're interviewing him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's literally True Detective.
That sounds more like a sequel to me.
No, it's an extension. It's clever. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good. It works.
It's quite thinking outside the box a lot.
Yeah. And it's it's like the film's 25 years in the making, or however long ago it was.
Yeah.
By the time we've made it, it'll probably be much longer than that.
Yeah, but it turns out it's actually before the events of the film somehow, because that's cool. And
what about you? The other thing you could do is just have much more slow motion. Just just slow the whole film down.
Increase the length of the film by 20 minutes.
Yeah. if you decrease the frame rate by like three frames, that was slowly. You probably ain't adding a couple of minutes there right away.
What about you? Any big scenes that you felt Enter the Valkyrie should have had?
No, I thought it was perfect. I'd have to rewatch it, but I think everything Rob said sounded good. I do remember him saying about the bar, and I did lament that. Also, I want whoever your friend is to have got their shot with the bottle. I know how to make bottles explode. I was like, let's see that. Let's see that happen.
Prove it.
That could have been very cool. But yeah, I do think I do think it's just not the way. We talk about this quite a lot. It's just not the way to make something, is it? Go back and add stuff on for money because you need more time. Like, do you know how much they had to add?
Oh, yeah. I think most of the film.
Really?
I think it was like
So
doubled.
the 60 grand budget was what they gave him after it was a student film.
I think that's the total amount that it took to do everything, not just to shoot. I think the original budget was like, here's $6,000 from the university.
I would love 60 grand to make a movie.
Yeah.
I'd back
What,
myself to make a really good movie.
It doesn't go far though, $60,000.
Yeah.
Really?
But it goes farther than I think £100 we were all allowed for us. I think that was you're allowed £100.
Yeah.
They didn't give it to us, by the way, the Aberystwyth University. They were like, you can spend £100 on your film.
It's crazy thinking about them making a film then and the cost of that and making a film now. Really, obviously you can spend loads of money, but if you're careful, you can make a film on so little now. Like, phones are literally being made to shoot movies. The quality of footage you can record in your pocket is nuts. And then, obviously cameras cost loads of money in the past, but film cost loads of money.
Yeah.
You don't need film anymore.
You don't need locations.
You've got hundreds of hours of recording capability in your pocket, which is just madness. Absolutely.
But also,
madness.
Rob had to book an editing suite.
Yes,
you
right.
Can, you can edit.
You could edit on your phone. I mean, obviously, don't do that.
My daughter this weekend has discovered CapCut. She's downloaded CapCut.
Here we go.
And she's now editing all of her sort of like horse toy videos that she makes for her YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And over the weekend, every half an hour, Daddy, come and look what I've made. So she has to trudge upstairs, pretend to be interested. But she's like how? I don't actually know how you've done that. I know CapCut has,
how have you done that?
has lots of quite strong AI-powered tools for transitions and cool effects.
I love the
and
idea
stuff.
that it's like an
But
edit.
It's like a
horse.
It is. There's a clip of
Explosion.
her like doing a little jump over a thing.
Yeah.
And she's got like flashes and edits on it. And I wouldn't know how to do it in Premiere.
No.
But obviously in CapCut she can do it.
Yes.
And it's powerful, isn't it? She's got.
We should remake Dark Star in CapCut. That I would like to see.
I guess what I was trying to say is, or what I'm now realizing I'm saying, Rob, is that you should just make a movie. You don't need 60 grand.
I'd really like to.
You don't need 60 grand. You just need to do it. You could. It's a good idea and some time, and some friends probably who can be star for free.
This is the thing, isn't it? I think when you're young, maybe at university, this is what this film reminds me of, is if you can just rope. I mean, they were at university to make movies. They were at film school. So it's different.
And you can distribute it now as well, so easily.
Yeah, right.
To be fair, I've seen loads of great short movies, low budget movies. Obviously, horror is like a big space for that.
Well, in a way, it kind of makes me. I've never really been one to. I never really wanted to make films, but I'd be more daunted now because the barrier is so low. It's like, so all I've got to. Because back then you could go half of the process, maybe more, of getting through that door and trying to get into the industry, or just to make something was, can I gather enough people? Can I wrangle reality to an extent where I'm shooting? Can I get people to be on screen and help me out and whatever? And now it's like, well, the barrier to all of that is much lower. So actually it's just about my talent. And that's terrible news.
Yeah.
Because if I'm out there on just an open market with people who might be more talented than me, I'm fucked. So,
yeah, exactly. No, it's like there's lots of barriers to entry. I like the barriers: money,
Bring the barriers
technology,
back.
time. Yeah,
okay.
We don't know if I'm good enough. We will never know because
Exactly.
I don't have.
I could have had a great career, but unfortunately, I didn't have any friends or camera.
This is a complete tangent, but I have always wondered how American football can possibly exist.
What?
Because it requires.
That is a tangent.
because it requires so many people.
Oh yeah.
It's nuts. I don't know how many people are on one of the teams that every team has. They've got like 3 teams.
You understand there are millions of people in America.
Yeah, I know, but trying to organise, are you guys trying to organise, what is it, 5-a-side? Seems difficult enough. They have like 11 people on offence.
Rob's just realised he's not signed up for 5-a-side.
No, I have, and I've forgotten my kit.
Terrible news.
Well, that's
11
shit.
people for the offense, 11 people for the defense, 11 people for the special team. Then you need another 33 on the other team. Then you need like about 10 officials to watch what's going on and throw their flags
I'm
up in
trying
the
to
air.
think how this is, just because
you mentioned
people.
mentioned crews, massive crews of people that you need.
I think it's in Friday Night Lights the movie, which I enjoyed. I've not seen the TV show or read the book. I love the film a lot, and it's soundtracked by one of my favourite bands, Explosions in the Sky. And at the end of that, Billy Bob Thornton, I think, it's either this or another movie about American football. So this is like state championship, final. And he says this will probably be the last game that a lot of you play. It seems like maybe something that people would say at college, but basically it is that once you're not in high school or college, like I'm not sure that people play pickup games of real football because it's the bar to the logistics thing, which is crazy to me because obviously for us, you can just go to like people play football in the park. It's like a street game as much as it is an organized game. Yeah. Crazy.
It is crazy.
Crazy old America.
I'm bringing that back to Dark Star. I guess like, I think
Good
what
job.
you said, Dan O'Bannon said is like bang on. Like thinking about just the sets and things. Like I bought that it was a movie, like
Some of them look
cheap
great.
movie, but
I really like them all in their little cockpit.
yeah, I really like that idea.
The buttons are very Star Wars.
I got a real sense of the geography of the place and like what, the different bits. It felt like they were different bits. It didn't feel like they were just reusing the same sets again and again. And
they had
that's amazing.
They had
really,
those chunky buttons. That scene looks a lot like the firing office. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called in the Death Star. Yeah, I'm glad you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
The buttons are very similar.
Yes.
Just a little bit more time, a little bit more money, a little more design. I can imagine the guy's voice on the Death Star.
Yeah.
So good. We haven't talked about the design of the ship, the Dark Star itself, which was by Ron Cobb, who went on to have a career designing things in films that we enjoyed. Yeah. Like a film that I imagine we'll be watching quite soon, to be fair, because it's from 1985, and I think you're going to pick it for your pick of 1985.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, he designed the
DeLorean.
The DeLorean. Well,
I can see that.
Not the DeLorean.
Yeah,
but yeah. The bits on it. I mean, it's so iconic. It's incredibly cool.
I think he designed some bits of Mos Eisley. You know that alien with like a C-shaped head
in
the cantina? I believe that's a Ron Cobb design.
Okay, nice. I mean, to be honest, I found the design of the ship pretty nondescript.
It looks a bit like the actual space shuttle that they had.
I thought that the design of the bombs was super interesting, just because they were so
containers.
They were so square and kind of uninteresting, I guess they didn't look like a bomb, and I liked that about it. It's like, because then it's like, why does it need to look like anything? It's in space. It doesn't need to be aerodynamic or whatever. And I just thought that was quite cool. It wasn't like pointy and sharp and like it was going to fly like a missile or whatever.
Actually, the bit of the film I enjoyed probably the most is the unspoken logic and route and procedure between the crew and the bombs, where they're just like, could you arm yourself? And he's like, sure. And then it tends into humor and the whole, and the phenomenology and everything. But just that back and forth. We live in a future where we have smart objects who will arm and not arm themselves. And I think, when I first tried to watch this film 20 years ago, whenever it was, I didn't have the same experience of waking up every morning and going, Alexa, can you play Radio 6 music for me, please? Because I'm a 44-year-old man. Now I do. And so obviously I think bang on.
Yeah, definitely.
Cobb on.
And I enjoyed, that I could see that
was a good job.
By going down this philosophical route, he was setting himself up, like by getting the bomb to agree that it couldn't actually decipher what's real and what's not.
Yes.
That was like a sticking plaster on a bigger problem. And I was like, I think that you've given it the tools there to
the relief
to
was
not believe anything you say ever again.
Yes.
It's quite nice. And I did really enjoy it. It's sort of countdown to death.
Sent it insane.
I thought it was great.
Let
really,
there be
really
light.
Good.
Let there be light.
That's great. It doesn't speak out loud what conclusion it's come to, but you know what it's about to do.
Yes.
Like, oh man, it's decided. It's not like, it's not evil about it. It's just like, I've thought about all of the things.
Yeah.
This is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
The Let There Be Light line. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Superb.
It was good.
There's bits in Hitchhikers which are very similar. Marvin the Paranoid Android. It was Alan Rickman, I guess, in the version of
Or was it?
Hitchhikers
My memory is so foggy that I can't even remember Alan Rickman being in it.
Weirdly, I pictured Marvin the Martian when you said that, from Looney Tunes or whatever.
Yeah.
It took me a second to realise you weren't talking about Marvin the Martian. It was the Paranoid Andrew. I also just really enjoyed the speed. They managed to get a great sense of Talby being sucked out of the airlock.
Oh yeah, he
sort of
just
goes,
absolutely shut out.
yeah, which is great. Which I really
There's
appreciate.
a lot of. I mean, I'm guessing 2001 was the first movie to do it, but just guy spinning through space, other guy trying to catch him.
Yeah.
The first encounter I ever had with a sequence like this was in Final Fantasy VIII, where there's a whole bit which I now realise is heavily influenced by 2001, where you go into space. There's like waltz style music playing when you're in space. One of the characters gets blown out of a ship and is just drifting hopelessly through space, and there's this really agonising sequence where you have to position the camera properly as they're like floating towards you to catch them.
Yeah.
It takes about. Well, it seems like it takes forever. It probably takes about 2 minutes of carefully. And if you get it wrong, they sort of like float past you and you get a game over and you have to try and do the whole thing again.
Yeah.
But it's now a sequence that I've seen in 2 films as well as that.
Yeah.
And the speed of him sort of like flipping through space as well, I also found quite terrifying.
Yeah.
There's something quite terrifying, isn't it, about the no up and downness of space.
Just the whole thing is
helplessly flying through it.
Yeah. The loneliness of I felt it's very nice, Talby's end, actually, that he gets picked up by the asteroids, and he's so philosophical about it.
It was very quick.
I'm with them now.
Yeah,
Yes.
we just sold it.
Now.
I mean, very 2001. I
Yes.
thought,
Yeah.
like that. Like what it's like a child telling me what happened in 2001. He
Yeah.
sort of went off into like space with like lights and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he was different.
But maybe that's what the Phoenix asteroids are. They're just a collection of souls glowing,
Dancing about.
rainbow-like, constantly traversing the universe. And now Talby's one of them.
It had like this chilled out road movie sense of letting things be, abiding. It was, he said like, I might be back. I'll be back this way someday. That's what he said. I think I like that.
It was nice.
It was good.
And then Doolittle surfs down to the.
Sort of ruined it for me.
He dies, right? He gets incinerated.
I think he
by
dies.
the
Yeah, he looks
shoe.
like he burst into flames to me.
But a nice way for him to go as well. One last surf.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I like their conversation. Just one of them is floating off, and before he gets absorbed into the Phoenix meteors or whatever, he's just floating off, and Doolittle's like floating towards the planet, and he's like, "Well, you're going to burn up on re-entry." He's just like, "That's going to be what a way to go." It'll be quick.
I like that they were kind of like chill.
Yeah,
about
very
their
chill
situation.
about it.
I think I've
Horrible
decided I really like this film. Having spoken about it now,
I think
there's a heart to it and there's an intent to it that I really admire.
I will
really like
never ever
everyone's-
watch it again.
I think I might.
but-
I was very tired when I watched it. I'd just driven back from Liverpool, 3-hour drive.
Grillo.
Fuck off.
Were you watching the football?
I was.
Did it go well?
No, terribly. The worst thing about it was like Ella was with me.
Again, you got to stop taking her to games. She's bad luck.
She is.
Yeah, that's true. Just
She
she
was-
can't come anymore.
She was just. We conceded a last minute goal to lose the game.
Oh no! What was the score? Final score?
2-1.
Oh,
We were 1-0 up. Should have been out of sight. But anyway, Ella was like distraught.
yes.
Absolutely distraught. And I was trying to educate her. And, this is just what football's like sometimes, unfortunately. You'll
Yeah.
be right, we'll go to more games, you'll see us win. But just that 3-hour drive home. Anyway, I was very tired.
Yeah.
I'd like to watch it again.
Right.
Not so tired. But I like everyone's name. Everyone's got like, you could feel the Doolittle, Pinback,
Yeah.
Talby. They've all got their names on patches on their jumpsuits.
Yeah.
There's so much alien in it. So much alien DNA in this.
Yeah.
And there's so much of it, I think. So many ideas in it that warrant, I think, a more sophisticated execution.
This is so interesting
they
to see
ever-
someone realize what they think about a film in real time. Like right at the end of our podcast, you're like, actually, everything I've said so far.
It's difficult to watch a film and then immediately have like a, opinions, or certainly mine. It's like, you see a thing, all the lava of opinion bubbles up. You gotta, you gotta wait for it to settle down a little bit. Sometimes it
opinion
takes me years.
It's in the oven.
I think this happens quite often. Just the. I enjoy this process of talking about something we've seen, and usually it results in more appreciation of the thing. Even things I know I like. We watched Terminator 2, and I remember not massively enjoying watching it even though I already knew I really enjoyed this film, but on this watch I just didn't enjoy it as much. And then we talked about it, and I really enjoyed it again.
I do.
And there's something like, it's interesting how chemical a watch of a thing can be, as much as like, it's not just you put a sum. It's not a simple sum of movie goes in and you like it or you don't. It's like, on this watch, I liked it less.
I feel like the real magic for me of movies is when I'm watching something and it's just working. And I'm like, in this moment, I'm having a fucking great time.
Yeah.
But then there is definitely afterwards, like we kind of said at the beginning, and I think appreciation is the right word, that in talking about something, I can reason out that I need to give it credit in a certain way.
Yeah.
I felt like that increasingly about Alien Earth. And every time I would listen to the official podcast, I'd be like, all right, that's what you were going for. I can't argue with that. Did I enjoy that episode? Much less than you might expect. But and on that theme, actually, I was still listening to the official podcast, and I think my opinions had diverged so much from what they were telling me by the time I got to the podcast on episode 8 that I just turned it off. I was like, shut up. Just shut up. Although I think over time I will mellow, but I was so mad that they left everything dangling.
I think, like, in talking about this movie, I do appreciate a lot more what they were trying to do. I would really like to see the like original cut, if that even exists. The student film version of it, I think, is probably great. And I'm interested to see where this leads, because first of all, like I said earlier, like I had to check that John Carpenter was involved because Dan O'Bannon is so involved. Like he's all over the credits, and I appreciate much more now knowing it was a student film to begin with. That's just sort of what making a student film is, isn't it? You're the production designer, and you're the visual effects supervisor, and you're the writer and whatever. But I'm intrigued to see, because I think, not knowing anything really about John Carpenter, I have seen The Thing. I'm super excited for Rob to watch The Thing because I know he hasn't seen it. It's hard. I can't see any sparks of John Carpenter in this movie, really.
Right.
And I'm excited to see how this is the origin story of where he's going to go. And we already talked a lot about Dan O'Bannon, and I can definitely see the threads leading into Alien, which is very cool.
Yeah, exactly. And the next film that we're going to be watching is very different, actually. It's Assault on Precinct 13, but it's the kind of film, it's like a real exploitation vibe. Have you seen The Warriors?
No.
I know that Rockstar made a game of the Warriors, didn't they?
They did, yeah. Warriors is, do you know the kind of story? It's kind of cool. I don't think so. I feel like it's the kind of setup that people really enjoy now in like YA stuff. And what I mean by that is in the Warriors, and this is only partially relevant to what we're talking about, but in the Warriors, there's like a gang, and there's actually like a meeting of a forum of New York gangs. They all get together to have it's basically like a business meeting, but for murderers. Yeah. And there's one really charismatic guy who's like telling them all they've got to come together because there's like, they're in a war with cops or the establishment or whatever. That guy gets assassinated, and the gang that did it blame the Warriors, who are like the hero gang. Right. And someone says, it was the Warriors. And then the Warriors have got to get back to Coney Island, which is like their home territory. And all the other gangs in New York are trying to kill them on the way. So it's a great setup for a game. Yeah. But it's also got that, in the same way that real life isn't, like every gang has got like a cool, some of them wear makeup, like really detailed makeup. They've all got great outfits. They've all got like a uniform. One of them's baseball themed. Right. And what I mean about it reminds me of YA, like it's like the houses in Harry Potter, or it's like all the classes in Divergent or whatever it is. Yeah. It's like the world has got these rules and you fit into it in this way. And there's an appeal to that, and there's a gameness to it. And a lot of exploitation stuff runs along similar lines. And Assault on Precinct 13 is kind of similar in terms of, I think there are some gang members in Precinct 13 in jail, and the rest of the gang try and bust them out. And the people inside the precinct have to hold them off for a certain amount of time.
Was this remade recently? Well, in the past 10 years?
I believe slightly longer ago. Right. And I think it might be a sort of a remake of a Western.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I kind of feel like it's true.
And do you know what other films we're watching in our John Carpenter season, Nath?
I definitely do, and especially if you can talk for a moment.
Because I haven't seen any of them apart from Halloween, and I'm very excited to watch All of them, I think.
I haven't seen Halloween.
One of the things about John Carpenter, which you mentioned about this film, is that he does a lot of the music for a lot of his films.
Oh,
so you
right.
know that the classic Halloween theme?
Yeah.
That's John Carpenter.
Didn't know that.
What a guy.
That's cool.
What a talented young man he was back then. You still have to talk.
I'm going to do the theme tune. I was trying to
What
reach
is
for a little...
Can you do Halloween? I was trying to remember it.
No,
Dun,
I've not
dun,
seen
dun,
Halloween.
dun,
I do know the theme
dun,
tune, but I couldn't sing
I
it to you.
can't hum it very well.
I'm not looking forward to watching Halloween. I don't think I've looking forward to watching any of these.
It's such an easy character to dress up as, Michael Myers. You just need like a boiler suit and the mask.
The mask, the Michael Myers
mask. And I
mask.
went to my sister-in-law's Halloween party once as Michael Myers because we had that mask in the office. And it was just a great time. Like, my 2 nephews, who were at the time were like 3 and 1, just like standing around ominously in their house dressed as Michael Myers. They didn't like it. I was having a great time.
This is just an aside, but do you remember the my fiance Holly has a full English breakfast mask.
Yeah,
have you seen this?
Yeah,
it's horrible. You would have seen it.
I hate it.
It's like a latex mask.
It just looks like beans.
Not latex, but like that material that sticks to your face. And it's like beans, and then she's got like bacon for ears and like a sausage mouth and like fried egg eyes or something. And a couple of Halloweens ago, we live quite near to our friends Matt and Danny, and they had like a 3-year-old Hazel, and Matt brought Hazel round to trick or treat, and Holly was like, "This is going to be great." And no! And so there was a knock on the door, and we knew it was them. And she opened the door and just like really quickly opened the door, wearing this mask, and bent down and just went, "Hello," and Hazel just like vibrated with fear.
Oh my
I was like,
God.
Holly, why did you do that? She was like, Halloween.
No,
I was
that's
like,
good.
no.
That's what children need. They need. That'll be a memory now.
Oh my God,
You need character building.
That
trauma
explains
in your
why
life.
Hazel's never eaten a full English breakfast. She's scared to death of cafes. It's weird. And now I know why that is. Anyway,
fools.
did we vamp long enough?
Yeah, ages ago. I think ages ago. So our October John Carpenter series today. Dark Star.
That's right.
Wednesday, actually, 2001.
Yes.
Late bonus.
Unrelated to John Carpenter.
Assault on Precinct 13 is the movie I was talking about. And then a bonus episode of The Fog, which is set in San Francisco, which is a foggy place.
Yes.
Halloween on the 20th of October. Escape from New York on the 27th. A bonus episode, Prince of Darkness, film which I've not seen since I was a child, which terrified me.
Oh, God.
And then The Thing on the 3rd of November. So we're going up to The Thing.
The Thing is the light at the end of the tunnel for me. I'm really excited to watch it again.
Well, I'm going on a holiday at the end of October, so it's going to be a busy schedule for us.
Busy few days.
Just scares after scares
Thanks,
after scares.
All right, we should
Brilliant.
say goodbye.
We should.
Get on with our day.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the alarm for going off again this morning and making us slightly late to record. And another episode will be out on Wednesday.
Yeah. Our 100th episode, but in 101th place. So enjoy that.
You've been listening to Redshirt Cinema Club. If you're enjoying the podcast and would like to receive 2 exclusive episodes per month, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just check the link in the description. We'd also love to hear from you. Email us at redshirtcinemaclub@gmail.com or follow us on social media. We'll be back with another episode on Monday.